I'm trying to think about the first time I met you, Tony, and it must have been sometime in the mid 90s because I was interviewing for a summer associate position at a number of different firms, including our predecessor firm, Hodson Russ. And as I remember it, we had a nice lunch somewhere downtown. I can't remember exactly where.
It was Jim Kelly's place on the corner of Main and whatever that is, Church Street, right across from the Guarantee Building. I think. I'm trying to remember, but I remember where we sat for some reason. We had like a booth situation, and yeah, they'd asked me to go out to lunch and I think sell you on the firm a little bit.
I think I had an offer in my back pocket at the time and was deciding between a couple of firms. And I remember meeting you and thinking, this is a hard charging litigator at Buffalo's premier firm. This is exactly where I want to start working.
Yeah, well, I remember. I think we hit it off pretty well at that meeting. I hadn't met you, but I knew from your lineage. I knew about your dad. I think he had been the president of the bar association at that point. So I was like, wow, this would be a great candidate for the firm. And of course, I was very busy at the time, and I remember thinking it'd also be a great new associate who can do some of the heavy lifting and the litigation work I was doing at the time. So
And never look back. Our group was best in class and the top litigation firm in the city to get an opportunity to work with individuals like Ken Schrader and Lisa Capola and Hugh Russ and Tony Rupp. It was really a match made in heaven at the outset
yeah,
for me.
Hudson had great litigators, and it was a good jump off for us in our relationship right there.
It was a match that was perfect for me. And I remember my first days at Hodson Russ as a summer associate working with you, and then thereafter as a full-time associate working in the litigation department. I couldn't have asked for a better environment to start my career in.
Yeah, I see the same way, and I know we started to hit it off and worked together on a lot of litigated matters. And you started, I think you second chaired a couple of trials with me leading up to the one I think that we did, and I remember very well the second Park Square trial that we tried in February of 2000. I think that was.
And as I remember, I think it was during that Square trial, the nights, the weekends that we were working. And I did have an opportunity to second chair that with you, but then we started sort of dreaming and scheming about what it might be like to launch our own firm. And I know your grandfather had formed his own firm down in Richmond, Virginia, that you were very proud of. And my father being a sole practicing entrepreneurial lawyer.
I remember meeting with your dad when we were getting ready to start the firm, and I remember you were on board right from the get go, which surprised me a little bit. But you always thought entrepreneurially as well.
One of the things that I admire most about you, Tony, was your selflessness from the outset, certainly as a fourth year associate, and our other co founder, Jeff Boz, being not much more senior than that. You being a full time partner at Hodson Russ, albeit just making it, a few months before we launched, but it certainly could have been the law offices of our Anthony Rupp III. But you had a bigger vision, would be, the whole would be greater than the sum of the parts. And certainly I had confidence in leaving with you. I felt that if worse came to worse, I had a good name in the legal industry and could land on my feet. But never in a million years did I think that if you fast forward 25 years later, that we would be able to put together a firm that boasts, nearly 80 attorneys and six different offices across New York. But I think today about the original vision, the being a challenger brand, being a disruptor, and it's not a coincidence that our softball team is named after you, because that was your original vision. Let's take all the great parts about a big law firm and let's transport those into a more agile, um, family-friendly, culture-first setting and practice law at the highest level, but never sort of become more important than our clients were or than our people were and than our community was. And so I think we're a unique firm in that aspect. We've got two co-founders who are still hard charging and working hard in the trenches, especially you with all the trial work that you do. But that original DNA, that original feeling that you brought, Tony, about let's create something bigger than ourselves and let's try to build a company from the outset that practice law at the highest level, but that also maintain a civil work environment and a culture that was second to none. I think was really the spirit that caught fire and ultimately allowed us to grow as fast as we've grown.
I've been here almost since day one, and it's never been growth for the sake of growth. We've always been about getting the right people on the bus, and surrounding ourselves with with good talent, good people, good lawyers, um, and I just see that that trajectory continuing. And it's funny, as big as we are now, to me, it still feels like a small firm. It's not the kind of firm where there's Mr. So and so and Mrs. So and so. It's not the kind of firm where doors are closed or you feel like you got to make an appointment to meet with someone or you're uncomfortable going to meet with someone. People, whether it's 2000, 2002 when I joined the firm or 2025 today, to me, it still has that same feel: teamwork, collaboration, people being accessible and open, and always willing to spend time with talking with others about a case or just finding out what's going on in their life.
For me too, it has to do with the people, and it started at that lunch, and forming a bond with Jeff Boz, being fortunate to find Marco Cercone, Dan Sarzinski, Matt Lenhard, Horace Joya. Over the years, where we haven't missed is recruiting and retaining really good people. I always describe our firm as having this rare, I think, in our industry, but collection of really great lawyers who happen to be really great people too. And it's something that, looking back, I take a ton of pride in knowing that we have succeeded in surrounding ourselves with a really good family, with really good people who share the same values, who want to be disruptors, who are going to challenge the status quo and think about cases differently and think about marketing differently than the traditional approach to the practice of law. And that was always your mantra, Tony, and it's been embraced for 25 years. We're gonna take a different approach to the practice of law, and I think looking back, it was really sort of our DNA or the spirit that allowed us to grow as fast as we have.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. And to your point of our people, where we have brought people over thinking that they would be a good fit, and they didn't end up being. They ended up leaving even after many many years. It just was a sort of a unified culture that we were going for, where folks at the firm had made a commitment to our name, and I take very seriously with pride, but also with obligation. The fact that my name is on the door along with yours now, and what that means when somebody comes out of law school or somebody comes in as a paralegal or a legal assistant and they're making a commitment to our firm and our name is on the door. You need to make sure that they find a place, a landing place where they can build their career at whatever level they're at. And that's something that has always been very important to me, and I know it's been very important to you, in making sure that we provide that work environment where people are treated with dignity and respect, and people are honored. And even when something bad like COVID happens, we're gonna have their backs and make sure that they're not cast overboard, because they have made that commitment to the firm that has our name on it. And that's just been such an important thing, and not something that larger firms maybe, or firms that have a different management style or think differently, are able to do. But we do it because we always wanted to think differently and be different.
I've always referred to the firm as an extension of my family, but there's been no greater moment that has showed that than what we did during COVID-19. The leaders of the firm got together despite the fear, despite the unknown, despite the trepidation. We made a decision to keep all of our employees paid and working and active throughout that pandemic. And that to me shows the strength of our family, how we persevered through that time and became stronger because of it. We're a stronger family.
We've been entrepreneurial. We've kind of gone for it. We haven't just taken the safe approach and the safe path. But at the same time, and I think this is something that's near and dear to both of us. We've wanted to take care of the people who've made a commitment. I know with my name on the door, and I know you feel the same way, that there's a need to take care of the people that made a commitment to that name, made a commitment to that firm, and to you and me and the rest of the partners, the equity partners, and everyone on down. That we want to make sure that it's a good place for them to be career wise. If they're whatever position they hold in the firm, attorneys are making a commitment to a firm that we started, and that's really an amazing thing, to have them make that commitment. I want to make sure that we commit to making it as great a place to work for them as it possibly can be, and very fulfilling for them.
What makes us different is truly our people. They've helped build an incredible infrastructure to really set the firm apart and provide the resources that our attorneys and staff need every single day to really set us apart as a firm and allow them to achieve excellence day to day. But most importantly, I think our people truly help play an integral part of our infrastructure as we continue to grow. It's because of each and every one of you, we achieved the Best Places to Work award and achieved first place for large companies in Western New York. That's truly a testament to all of your hard work, dedication, our family oriented culture. And I want to thank everyone for their continuous improvement mindset that has really helped build our infrastructure for years to come.
Everyone gets along. They hire people you'd want to be with after work. You'd want to go out with. You'd want to be with. And to me, that just makes coming to work fun. It's a great place to come to work, and I think that makes a difference in how well you perform.
So I think the thing I'm most proud of about the firm is the culture. So I was interviewed by Marco Sircone 13 years ago as a kid out of law school, and one of the things he told me was that the coolest thing about this place is some of it, he works here too, but a lot of his best friends are here. And I don't know if I took it at face value at that point, but as I started to work here, I developed exactly what he said in that interview. And to this day, over the years, a lot of my best friends are here. We hang out outside the office. It's a fun place to work. It's not just come in, push some paper around and leave. You actually develop relationships with the people at the office and you enjoy those relationships. So, comparing that to other firms in town, I think that's what makes us different. And that's what I'm most proud of.
Most rewarding for us is delivering those exceptional results that we've come to be known for to clients. We all have personal and professional goals, but ultimately why we're here is to deliver those results and see happy clients. And we're all here collectively working together to achieve those results.
So about 17 years ago, the firm made its first geographic expansion to the Rochester market. I essentially was there to start the litigation practice there in the Rochester office. At the time, I was all alone. Eventually, we grew to some small amount of support staff there. Now we have 7 or 8 attorneys, burgeoning litigation practice, very active. And I've appreciated the fact that the firm was able to accommodate my desire to move to Rochester to return to where I grew up and where my family remains.
Yeah, I met Matt about 12 years ago. We were actually adversaries on a case, but worked very closely together. I liked the way he did his work. I think he liked the way I worked. When I needed a job, he was my first call. I came over. I knew nothing about the Rupp Pfalzgraf culture, but I sure enjoyed it when I got here. Everyone works closely, collegially, and we get good results for our clients.
As I think about the future, and I never want the firm to lose that DNA, that spirit of entrepreneurship, that excitement that comes with launching a new business, the responsibility that also comes with it, or the hard work that it takes to have a new business succeed. I hope, I pray, I dream that in the coming years, as part of your legacy, Tony, that these lawyers coming up through the ranks will continue to embrace that challenger brand, that be a disruptor. Don't accept status quo if you don't want to. Continue to give back, both internally to all the great people that are part of our firm, but also to our community, and never lose that generous spirit that you put a stake in the ground 25 years ago and said, this is how we're going to build a different kind of law firm.
Well, you were right along with me on all that, Dave, and I think it's important. I consider myself very fortunate. Things have gone well for me in my career and in my life. Starting with being born to 2 great parents who got me to where I needed to be. But since then we've had a lot of good fortune, a lot of good luck, and I think giving back to first, as you say, the people who've made that commitment to the name. The name's on the door is meaningful. You want to take care of people who've made that career commitment to the place that you started, that wouldn't be there if you hadn't made the leap. But then giving back to the community, and I know you serve on a number of boards and have a great volunteer spirit. You've been helping me with Scouts. We both serve on boards. We both give a lot of time to things like mock trial. I know you coach the squash team. Give back to youth in particular. Just great stuff that we do as a firm, I think, to give back to the community and recognize that while we've made our luck to a certain degree, we've also had a lot of good fortune along the way.
Our team is very community minded, and we feel a greater connection to the community when we actively participate in events with these various not for profit organizations. It makes us feel good for helping out other people, and it brings us closer together. We're not just lawyers, we are people, and it means a lot to us.
We're going to continue to grow. We're a rocket ship right now, and I've never seen the firm have more momentum, more positive energy, and because of the people that we've been blessed and fortunate to recruit and retain at the firm that share the same spirit of entrepreneurship, the future looks bright. It wouldn't surprise me, Tony, by the time you and I sail off into the sunset, that we're going to boast over 100 lawyers.
I see 100 attorneys as a definitely a worthwhile and achievable goal before we retire. But I also want to make sure that as we get bigger, that the firm doesn't lose that sort of challenger brand, new. It's easy as you get larger and older to become a little bit lethargic and sort of trend toward the way the other firms manage themselves. And as you said, I hope that our partners who are following in our footsteps as the leaders of the firm and take over after us will continue to see themselves as a brand that needs to keep innovating and challenging, embracing technology like AI, and not standing still, and certainly not gravitating towards the way most law firms do things. Because I think if there's anything that set us apart, it's been our agility and our ability to seize opportunities and move in a different direction quickly. When we saw the opportunity, we were able to seize it.
The Rupp Pfalzgraf mantra of people at law, they really mean it. And any of these folks here would give you the shirt off their proverbial backs. They're generous. This firm was at an inflection point where I saw an opportunity to not only team up with people who shared my values, but to grow a practice and to be a part of something that is not stagnant like a big firm where they just kind of fall into the same thing every year. This is a firm that is interested in being entrepreneurial, wants to be entrepreneurial, and I found it to be a very exciting opportunity for me.
I think one of the things that we do well as a firm is we measure our success by our clients' success. This isn't necessarily just an opportunity to make money or make money off of our clients. We try to grow with our clients. When our clients succeed, we do. And obviously we grow with them. And I think the fact that we've grown from 3 to 80 plus lawyers now in about 25 years is a great testament to that. And that's how I measure my success.
So I don't remember exactly when it kicked in for me. Maybe when the firm crossed 50 lawyers or 60, that I started to think that, there was a possibility that the firm might continue beyond our stewardship of it and our names on the door, and it might go into the future as a firm, a legacy firm in Buffalo that carried on after we had retired, or maybe even after our deaths. And I don't know about you, that's very humbling, right? Because when we started the firm,
Incredibly.
I just wanted to try something. I wanted to do a different firm, jump from Hodgson, give the entrepreneurial approach to law a chance. But then it's kind of caught fire, and now we're looking at a situation where we're trying to set up the people that come up behind us, make sure that they can carry the firm if they wish to pursue it with our names on the door, or if not, either way, that they can pursue an entity that outlives and outlasts us in the practice, if not in our lives. So that's just been an amazing thing for me to just think about. I never really anticipated that happening.
It's so humbling, and at the same point in time, that this idea of creating a firm that was focused on people at law, and it's our tagline, and we don't take that lightly. We are surrounded by some amazing people, and never in a million years back in April of 2000, Tony, did I think that we would help to build a firm that might have longevity beyond you, beyond me. And it's a credit to the people that are coming up through the ranks who have embraced that same spirit of entrepreneurship that you originally made to be part of the hallmark of the firm and part of our DNA. And it gives me such appreciation, profound appreciation and excitement to think about, is there a possibility that 10 years from now, 20 years from now, that this same mindset, the same incredible positive energy and spirit outlives you and outlives me. And I think we got a shot to do that.
Yeah, well, it's been a great ride to do it with you, Dave. And I don't think any one person is responsible. There's so many people at the firm who are just so incredibly loyal to the spirit of entrepreneurship and just doing things differently. And they understand that sometimes the firm will take a risk, whether it's the antitrust practice or whether it's launching a new marketing initiative that's never been done before. We know that we have people who are just going to be like, hey, the firm has helped to build itself by doing things differently than the way other law firms do it. So now instead of the knee jerk being, oh no, we can't do that, that sounds weird, it's more like, yeah, let's first think about doing it, and then maybe we'll get a little bit, put the brakes on a little bit and think about whether we should, because we got a lot of people who are depending on the firm to put food on the table. But so there's a mix of that. But I think it's very humbling to me to think that the firm could continue on something that we started on literally moving boxes back in the day could now have legs beyond our own practice and maybe our own lives. That's something I think about. It keeps me at the firm to try to continue to inculcate people with that same spirit of entrepreneurship, and hope that it's embraced, because I think it's been a ticket to our success.
It's been such a gratifying and fun ride. The very best part about it for me is that it's not over. We are still helping to build a one of a kind law firm that, with any luck, will outlive both of us, and continue to give back to the community and employ great lawyers and great people and a great support staff. We have potential, we have an opportunity, and I see the sky as the limit for our firm.
So I'm so glad we did it when we were young, because if we had waited until our 40s or 50s to launch a firm, and if it had taken off the way this one has, we would be long retired by now, and we wouldn't be seeing the success of all of the folks who made that commitment to come over and dedicate their careers to working at Rupp Pfalzgraf. Now we're getting to see them flourish and their practices just expand and take the firm into its next 25 years, the next generation. And that's just been so gratifying. So I'm psyched to have been on that ride from you, from starting from more than 25 years ago, and just that we're both around still to see the fruits of that success, and everybody else seeing success from it as well has been very gratifying.
Incredible.
So, thank you, partner.
Incredible. Thanks, partner. Incredible.